Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Tuesday, July 15, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, BNN calls for an overhaul of the long-term logging license concessions process. Opposition senator says Belize should wait on full CARICOM-free movement. UB Union capitalizes on cabinet meeting to rally for salary adjustment. And Panton slams Saturday's NPC as a facade of unity. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
B-Box offers Benny's customers the opportunity to earn points on their purchases at any Benny's locations or its entities, such as Best Manufacturing, Benquip, Island Freight Forwarders, Benny's Contractor and Lumberyard, and B-Mart. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbox.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Box. Brought to you by Benny's, quality and savings.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank. Building the future together.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who's
Who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
It's the Kikoker Lobster Fest 2025, and it's all going down Friday, July 18th, Saturday, July 19th, and Sunday, July 20th. The action kicks off Friday, July 18th with the opening ceremony at 7 p.m. with performances by the Belize Dance Company, Mariachi Los Halcones, and Agents of Groove.
From the time I reach, I walk in my way.
Then the action moves to Saturday, July 19th and Sunday, July 20th with a beach party, the Fisherman Lobster Competition and games, and music all day. On Saturday night, July 19th, you've got to be inside the dance called Rhythm and Waves with guest DJ Brandon Duke.
I just wanna party, party, party.
Lobster food and dishes will be on the menu for the entire Lobster Fest. Musical entertainment all weekend by DJ Julian, via Starter Sound, DJ Emo, DJ Silva, DJ Chris, Evolution Sound, Prince Kevin, and the Youth Connection Band, hosted by DJ Dalla. This year's Kikoker Lobster Fest sponsored by the Kikoker Village Council, Belize Tourism Board, Belikin, LED Belize, Travelers Rum, Rapidito Construction Depot, Atlantic Bank Limited, San Pedro Belize Express, Blue Zen, San Pedro Town Council, Tropic Air Limited, and Belize Bank Limited. It's the annual Kikoker Lobster Fest, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, July 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Measles is a virus that is highly infectious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It often starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes, followed by a rash that spreads all over the body. Measles can cause serious complications. But here's the good news. Measles is preventable. The safest and most effective way to protect your child is through vaccination. The MMR vaccine is safe and available at your nearest health centers and clinics. Let's keep our families and communities safe. Get vaccinated. Stay protected. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF.
Belize introduced its new electronic passport in 2022 through the launch of the Electronic Passport Issuance and Control System, EPICS. The e-passport includes an electronic chip that safeguards the holder's personal information and photograph. It also features a verification mechanism compatible with biometric systems such as smart gates at international borders. The passport's design reflects national pride, showcasing Belizean landmarks and symbols. It incorporates 26 modern security elements to prevent fraud and corruption. The introduction of the e-passport aims to enhance security, improve processing efficiency, and reduce application backlogs, benefiting Belizeans both domestically and abroad. The Ministry of Immigration, strengthening national sovereignty, security, and socio-economic development.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. At today's United Democratic Party's Parliamentary Caucus press conference, the topic of concern raised by lead opposition Senator Patrick Fauber was the decision taken on behalf of Belize at the latest Heads of Government CARICOM meeting that was held in Jamaica 2 weekends ago. It was agreed that Belize will be among 4 countries to fully implement free movement by October 1 this year. Faber slammed Prime Minister John Briceño for not reporting back to the nation on the meeting. Today, he said that Belize should write to CARICOM to notify that we are not yet ready for full free movement. Faber voiced concerns about the decision and urged the government to first establish a clear plan to support the anticipated changes. First, though, we hear from Prime Minister, whom we asked what exactly full implementation would mean.
We signed on to it, but what we said that let's have a 3-year period as we work out the kinks to make people move in and out more freely. If you were to talk to the private sector, they will tell you that we need more people, we need more workers, we need workers desperately, not only at the lower level, but middle management and upper management. So we're hoping that by doing that, maybe instead of bringing people all the way from England or anywhere in the world, our CARICOM brothers and sisters can come to Belize and to help in the development of this country. Our experience has shown, look at the attorneys. When that happened, the local attorneys were saying, the attorneys from the Caribbean are going to flood Belize. That did not happen. A few of them come to Belize. In every aspect, they have never been flooding Belize. But the truth is that we need more people. We need skilled laborers in Belize, more skilled laborers. And please, and that's no offense to our Belizean laborers. I don't want to twist my words, because we have very good skilled laborers in Belize. So, but we need more. The economy has been growing very fast, and we can't keep up. And the only way we can continue to keep the growth that Belize needs is by having the proper laborers and both the one that work from the bottom to the top to be able to maintain at least a minimum of 5% GDP growth.
Faber says it will include teachers, nurses, media workers, and others, and question how it will impact the employment rate and cost of living and housing availability. The Belize network of NGOs, BNN, has called on the government to overhaul the process of issuance and monitoring of long-term logging license concessions in Belize's forest reserves. In a release on Monday, it said a review of relevant legislation and policy exposed serious deficiencies in procedural oversight and monitoring. BNN affirms that forest reserves are, quote, integral to our national estate, and has called on the Ministry of Sustainable Development and Forest Department to hold an urgent meeting with co-managers of protected areas, community representatives, and other stakeholders to inform them about the concession process and address concerns. BNN highlights 5 areas of concern, including the need for an environmental clearance process. When we spoke today with Dr. Elma Kay, the chairperson of the BNN, she first indicated that the government does, in fact, have a good plan for long-term licenses to ensure sustainability. However, she says the BNN is asking for more transparency in the process and told us what an EIA would look like for a logging license. She said it would expand existing requirements, which currently sets limitations for things like not logging on hilly terrains.
Environmental impact assessments require that you look at, for example, the impacts that any activity, right, development activity is going to have on, for example, biodiversity, on, endangered species, on watersheds and, water quality issues. How will it affect our rivers? Will our rivers be contaminated? Will our rivers, will there be more erosion? Will it affect water flows? Will it affect the quality of the water? Will it affect our cultural heritage? Many of these areas include archaeological sites. Just because our untrained eye doesn't see them there doesn't mean that there's not cultural heritage in these areas. So an environmental impact assessment is done to review everything there is about a given area and to be able to say the likely impact of doing X, Y, and Z activity. Is this on, our cultural assets, on our biodiversity, on our water, on our air, on, whatever it is that is an asset for, like I say, the public good, because these are what we call goods and services that we receive from natural ecosystems, because we may not attach a value, but the water that we use comes from from the natural environment, from an ecosystem, because that ecosystem is healthy, that watershed is healthy. A watershed is basically a forest that gathers water. When an area is cleared and it's bare, it no longer can serve that function as a watershed or a water catchment ground, right? And then what you have is erosion. So those would be the types of impacts that an EIA would reveal.
The BNN has also raised concerns about monitoring and the inability of the Forest Department to ensure consistent and appropriate monitoring due to a lack of resources. It also calls for independent party involvement in monitoring to evaluate impacts on wildlife, water quality, cultural heritage features, and other impacts beyond those on timber species, except in cases where the concession is certified by an international body, such as the Forest Stewardship Council, end quote. Here again is Dr. Kay, who told us that what's in place for long-term licenses in terms of monitoring is a good plan, but she says it needs to be strengthened.
In this system, you actually have each tree mapped. So as a forest officer can go in and actually say, tree number 175, it's supposed to be this big, it's supposed to be this species, and it's one of the ones that are going to be taken out. And in the pre-harvest assessment, you can actually verify that that tree exists, that it is the correct size, that it is the correct species, and that it is an appropriate tree to harvest, or it's an appropriate tree to leave behind. That's the pre-harvest assessment. In the post-harvest assessment, you can then actually go back to the stump where they cut the tree from and verify that, again, it was the correct tree that was taken out as indicated by the plan. So that's a verification, and that's very good. That's an excellent system. But the focus of that monitoring system is solely on the timber part of it, right? It doesn't, like, a lot of it is not necessarily checking, like, did you have all your proper culverts? Did you, is your water quality affected by what you did? Or, did you, there are checks done on what we call the skidding. So, for example, in these long-term concessions, you shouldn't be using a big bulldozer, for example, like what we call a D6, for example. You should use a skidder that is lighter on the ground. It damages the soil less, causes less erosion. So some of those checks are done. But there isn't like a standard system, for example, for biodiversity to check with that. I do think there are some conditions that say you have to measure these things, but it's not standardized. But again, I think that our main point is not necessarily that. It's who does the monitoring, because it's back to these transparency issues, right? The monitoring for these things should not be done necessarily by the companies that are doing the activity, because then, that is not, that's like self-reporting.
The BNN has also pointed to conflicting regulatory changes not supported by any legislative framework. As an example, they cite a recent statement in the media that those who receive concessions can venture into tourism in the forest reserves. However, BNN says the laws do not reference this. This morning, members of the University of Belize Faculty and Staff Union mobilized in the capital along the driveway that leads to the Sir Edney Kane Building, also known as the Administration Building, which houses the Prime Minister's office. They timed their demonstration to coincide with today's cabinet meeting. The UBFSU is clamoring for a 9% salary adjustment that was committed by management since April to come into effect in August this year. They recently revealed that the increase is tied to the subvention from the government, and they are calling for its restoration as promised by the PUP when it was in opposition. UBFSU President Julian Passos explained that when the university was established, it received a subvention of $10 million annually. The highest the subvention has been is $11 million. During COVID in 2020, it was cut down to $8.34 million. The PUP government subsequently committed to include the increase in the 2025-2026 budget, but it didn't. Apart from their salary increase, Passos outlined areas for which the increase is needed.
Our infrastructure really needs work. It's deteriorating and we need to invest in it. We have technology in education. We are slowly investing in smart TVs and smart hubs and flex classroom systems where we can provide education across the country. And so these are things that we're slowly doing, but if we had the financing, we could make so much more of it, move it faster and at a higher quality, higher speed, invest in IT. That is one of our biggest things. Technology is moving very fast, and if we could invest in that, it would be amazing. We could really push our education forward. We also have research that has improved at the university, and if we get some more funding, it could be more impactful to the country.
School's supposed to open in August. If this drags out, what's that looking like?
What's that looking like? If you haven't had a salary increase in 10 years, they promised you a 9%, and then they told you they're not going to give it to you unless you will make sure that there is an answer to that unless. And so I believe that the faculty and staff will push for it until they get it. So in terms of classes, we hope that, and we call on our students to be understanding, the increase in subvention is for all of us, because if we can improve the university, we can improve it for our students, for our faculty and our staff. And in terms of moving the class, it might be a little sacrifice that we all have to do.
Here now is Dr. Christopher DeShield, who says they are frustrated by the delay.
In solidarity with my fellow staff and faculty here at UB, I think a lot of people are just frustrated by some of the promises made in campaign seasons to not only restore but extend the subvention and adequately fund the university. And so I'm joining here in support of that cause.
What has that been like for the past 10 years? No salary increase, especially with the cost of living going up.
Well, there's that. It's playing people's, livelihoods. But what seems especially callous is just the disregard for the promises that were made and not fulfilled on this issue.
If this demonstration doesn't yield the results that you guys are hoping it will in regards to the subvention, what are some of the next steps? I mean, how far is this faculty and staff of UB willing to go?
Well, as you can see, it's gathering more and more support. The union is got more and more people joining. It's part of the culture developing here for addressing the issues that we face. We are part of conversations with administration, and this is something that will benefit the wider community, UB administration, and us faculty and staff. So we are prepared to join and support to achieve these ends, whatever that will take.
Present in support of the UBFSU were NTUCB President Ella Waite and CWU President Leonora Flowers.
Give up. Strength is in numbers. I couldn't say it any more than this. Strength is in numbers and solidarity counts. We're here today because we believe in your cause. We're here today because we know that 10 years of waiting is indeed unconscionable. It's unforgivable that you've been have to wait this long. 10 years, the same thing over every year. You go to the store, you buy one bag like this, 2010, 2020, it's even smaller. You could put on your arm and walk through the door. Come on, it's time for those to come in. All the promises, like I said, the last manifesto, the government said, todo ganamos. Who the ganar? We are not winning. And in case we didn't know what ganar mean, to win. Who the win? We know the favored few. It is time now for the people of Belize, beginning with UB, get the subvention that they promised so that they could pay the teachers who are putting forward the people and the children who we're investing in for the future. That's all we're asking them to do. Roll out the subvention now, because it's been promised from the manifesto days.
Heading to the cabinet meeting room, former Minister of State for Education and a former UB board trustee, Dr. Louis Zabane, shared thoughtful remarks about the demonstrators' plight.
UB is very close to my heart, so we'll do what we gotta do.
And does that include delivering on the subvention?
Well, we'll have to discuss it at Cabinet, right? That's the idea for everybody to be here, to let Cabinet hear the voice of the people, and especially of our hard-working faculty at UB. So we'll see how it goes.
So is that on the table for today?
I believe so. I think that was mentioned that we would be discussing it, but we're here to talk about all the important issues that the country faces, and of course we hear our wonderful faculty from UB.
But former Minister of Education Francis Fonseca was not as circumspect and reminded that this government has been assisting in other ways.
It's not just the subvention, it's the subvention plus the amount of support we're providing to students that is used to pay salaries, to provide support to other programs that the university carries out. So you have to add those two together to get a correct, accurate picture of the support that the government is giving to University of Belize. So unprecedented support. Those are the facts.
So were those additional resources not being provided before in addition to the subvention?
No, they were not. Exactly not. That's the case.
In political news, at her parliamentary caucus press conference today, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Tracy Panton, started by addressing the state of the United Democratic Party. She criticized Saturday's National Party Council meeting by the Moses Shine Barrow executive as an insincere attempt at unity. She then reported that according to a leak on social media, the number of delegates who voted on the NPC resolutions online numbered 28 out of 106. Panton affirmed that the meeting did not have quorum. Responding to questions about his non-reinstatement as a UDP member at Saturday's meeting, Patrick Faber pointed to the process being flawed from the beginning, as there is no record from the Ethics Committee that there is any recommendation for their expulsion. He added Honorable Hugo Pat and Aldo Salazar were not a part of the meeting on Saturday because they had asked that the delegates list be properly finalized beforehand. After the break, Minister says logging permit not yet issued to Woodmark Designs. Stay with us.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapado en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival form in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Visit belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Step 2. Select the appropriate forms for arrivals. Choose Arriving to Belize. Step 3. Provide your origin trip details, including your departure airport and country of residence. Step 4. Carefully complete the immigration form. Add dependents if necessary. Declare baggage, currency, and merchandise, and confirm your entries are correct. Step 5. Download your completed form and take a screenshot of your QR code and reference ID to present to the immigration officer. Thank you for using Belize iTravel. Safe journey. Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
There has been a lot of opposition by conservation groups to the government of Belize exploring the idea of granting a long-term logging license for the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve in the Cayo District. Honorable Orlando Habet confirmed on Monday that no long-term license has been granted to Woodmark Designs at this time, but it is likely to be granted. He did clarify that only sustainable logging would be allowed.
Nothing has been granted. There was an assessment of the area which was proposed,
I think as far as I know from the Forest Department, it has been prepared, it has been reviewed, and a decision will be made more than likely whether it's granted or not, but I think it's leaning more towards being granted. It is an area where for many years it has been as part of the reserve. If you look at what was presented on Channel 7 on TV, they marked the area in green. There's a legend showing that that is an area that can be granted for sustainable forest licensing. I think the application for the area is about 13,800 acres. When they exclude all the creeks and mountains and everything else, it remains only about 40% that can be logged. But what is important is for people to understand what is a sustainable logging, because the Forest Department will go in and tag every tree that can be cut. They will mark all the seed trees that will be the parents of the next generation. Those cannot be cut. And so it is important for them to also understand that when you have a good sustainable forest management, that many times, and it has been proven not only in Belize, Honduras, Costa Rica, that the forest recovers quickly and those trees that remain grow a lot faster. So it's not something that we're inventing, it's in the science.
Habet also addressed the issue that a family member was involved with woodmark designs.
A family member is not involved in woodmark. So the question that they should have asked was whether or not a family member was involved in the other concession holder, which is Arch Timbers. Arch Timbers was not granted by us, by this administration. The area that was that is now Arch Timbers, which they have a concession on, was a concession that was granted in 2014 by then Minister Lisela Lamia. The gentleman who had the concession accordingly fell sick, but really sick, I don't know if it was cancer or something, and couldn't continue with the concession, so he signed over his concession to Arch Timbers. That a family member is now part of that, I have nothing to do with that.
There have been reports that the private co-managers of the various protected areas across the country have not been doing as great a job as the NGO co-managers. The question was posed to the Minister of Sustainable Development, Honorable Orlando Habet, on Monday. Habet said that the private co-managers have been doing a good job and said that all co-managers are assessed on a yearly basis.
Most of the co-managers are NGOs or CBOs, so community-based organizations and NGOs. There are just 2 or 3 private co-managers, and they are doing very well. Those that are NGOs and CBOs, they're doing a fairly good job, but the National Biodiversity Office does an assessment on a yearly basis, and based on that assessment, whenever it is time for renewal, then they can decide whether or not that NGO or CBO as co-managers will be able to get further assistance or to co-manage that particular protected area for another 3 or 5 years.
Sargassum has been plaguing the country's coastline for some time now, but especially of late. It has even reached Belize City. On Monday, Climate Change Minister Honorable Orlando Habet praised the work of the private sector for helping to clear some of the sargassum. He said a task force is looking into the problem and said soon the government will outline how they can join in the fight against sargassum.
Sargassum is really plaguing us, as you mentioned, using that word. This is one of our worst years in terms of the mats coming in. We have tried individually, the private sector has, for example, also the public sector in terms of the San Pedro Village Council. I think Placencia and all the resorts have been doing a lot, but mostly from the private sector. From the public sector, we have been studying it a lot. You know that we had still have a sargassum task force. We have the meteorology department that whenever they do the weather report, they also give a sargassum report as to the amount of sargassum and how much we're getting in. The task force has recently been meeting again, And so there is a close discussion as to what we can do, how the Department of Environment can help. They are members of the task force. BTB, the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Blue Economy and Fisheries, what we can all do together. And there is some discussion as late as Friday. We were in a meeting. And so this is coming to discussion and to see what we can do to alleviate the problem. We can't stop it because it's coming from afar. It's nothing that we cause, but it's coming our way. It is affecting our tourism. It is affecting our fisheries. And certainly the coastline is also being affected because it erodes some of the coastline also. But it is nothing easy because even when you collect it, you have to know where you will be able to dispose it. We know and understand that it has some heavy metals. How do you get rid of the heavy metals? Are the heavy metals in large quantities enough to affect humans and wildlife? All these things have to be put into consideration. But the task force will be reporting to us soon, and then the public will be able to know what the government is doing along with the private sector.
On Monday, the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Kareem Musa, reaffirmed his support to the proposed Belize Constitution 13th Amendment Bill 2025. Musa clarified that it is not new legislation that is being proposed, but that the amendment proposes new safeguards being added to the law, which has been in place since 1993. He spoke more about the changes and explained how they can be beneficial.
This is not a new legislation. This law has been in existence since the year 1993. We are merely moving it, upgrading it, so to speak, to give it an extra layer of protection in our Constitution. There are more safeguards now in this 13th Amendment with the declaration of special areas than there are safeguards for the state of emergency law that both administrations, ours and the previous, have been using when it comes to declaring a state of emergency. Now when you're declaring a special area, you are going to need the approval of the entire National Security Council. Not just the minister, not just the comptroller, not just the prime minister can declare a special area. And so it requires greater oversight, greater input from our security forces and the entire National Security Council before a special area can be declared. And in terms of the specialized gun and gang court, I think the time has come for that, because we have seen where so many of the offenses that are happening right now across the streets of this country involve illegal firearms. And there is no fear on the part of criminals to be importing, using, shooting people recklessly. And the case just a week and a half ago with an elderly mother and her handicapped son proved that very point, that in fact criminals know no bounds in today's day and age. And so there is a greater need for a specialized gun and gang court, and there is also a need to increase the penalty for illegal possession of firearms. So that is something that we will see moving forward, and that will also be enshrined in our Constitution, the establishment of this gun and gang court.
The National Assembly is hosting a public consultation on the 13th Amendment tomorrow at Swift Hall in Belize City, starting at 10 a.m. through to 4 p.m. While the majority of major crime statistics show a downward trend, the figures for reported cases of rape have shown a slight uptick as this year progresses. There were 17 cases of rape reported from January through June this year, which is the same number reported during the same period last year. However, there were only 6 reported cases from January to March of this year, with 11 being reported from April to June. Police Commissioner Dr. Anthony Richard Rosado spoke on how the department intends to approach this.
Well, many of the incidents that we have noticed in terms of the rape involve relatives of the victims or family members who are close to them within a family setting. So in most cases, it is extremely difficult for the police to prevent. But we are working with our gender-based violence unit to see how we can promote awareness about it, to see how we can promote prevention about it, to see how we can better address those incidents. So we know that we have to address it from a collective front.
After the break, Belize men's volleyball team wins silver at Afikaville Championship. Stay tuned.
It's the Kikoker Lobster Fest 2025, and it's all going down Friday, July 18th, Saturday, July 19th, and Sunday, July 20th. The action kicks off Friday, July 18th with the opening ceremony at 7 p.m. with performances by the Belize Dance Company, Mariachi Los Halcones, and Agents of Groove.
From the time I reach, I walk in my way.
Then the action moves to Saturday, July 19th and Sunday, July 20th with a beach party, the Fisherman Lobster Competition and games, and music all day. On Saturday night, July 19th, you've got to be inside the dance called Rhythm and Waves with guest DJ Brandon Duke. Lobster food and dishes will be on the menu for the entire Lobster Fest. Musical entertainment all weekend by DJ Julian, Firestarter Sound, DJ Emo, DJ Silva, DJ Chris, Evolution Sound, Prince Kevin, and the Youth Connection Band, hosted by DJ Dalla. This year's Kikoker Lobster Fest sponsored by the Kikoker Village Council, Belize Tourism Board, Pelican, LED Belize, Travelers Rum, Rapidito Construction Depot, Atlantic Bank Limited, San Pedro Belize Express, Blue Zen, San Pedro Town Council, Tropic Air Limited, and Belize Bank Limited. It's the annual Kikoker Lobster Fest, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, July 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
It's the Kikoker Lobster Fest 2025, and it's all going down Friday, July 18th, Saturday, July 19th, and Sunday, July 20th. The action kicks off Friday, July 18th with the opening ceremony at 7 p.m. with performances by the Belize Dance Company, Mariachi Los Halcones, and Agents of Groove.
From the time I reach, I walk in my way.
Then the action moves to Saturday, July 19th and Sunday, July 20th with a beach party, the Fisherman Lobster Competition and games, and music all day. On Saturday night, July 19th, you've got to be inside the dance called Rhythm and Waves with guest DJ Brandon Duke. Lobster food and dishes will be on the menu for the entire Lobster Fest. Musical entertainment all weekend by DJ Julian, via Starter Sound, DJ Emo, DJ Silva, DJ Chris, Evolution Sound, Prince Kevin, and the Youth Connection Band, hosted by DJ Dalla. This year's Kikoker Lobster Fest sponsored by the Kikoker Village Council, Belize Tourism Board, Pelican, LED Belize, Travelers Rum, Rapidito Construction Depot, Atlantic Bank Limited, San Pedro Belize Express, Blue Zen, San Pedro Town Council, Tropic Air Limited, and Belize Bank Limited. It's the annual Kikoker Lobster Fest, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, July 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Belize's men's national volleyball team made history over the weekend, securing a silver medal at the Afecavol's Men's Final Four Championship in El Salvador. It was their best finish yet at the regional tournament. In a tightly contested 5-set final, Team Belize almost got gold against Guatemala, missing first place by only 4 points. Despite the loss, the performance marked a significant achievement for Belizean volleyball on the international stage. Francis Hawes and Hakan Godoy received individual recognition for their outstanding performances. Hawes was named first best attacker, while Godoy earned the title of second best blocker. President of the Belize Volleyball Association praised the team's effort and growth, saying it shows the players are putting in more work. Notably, as the team was making its way back to Belize by bus, it was caught up in a teacher-led blockade in Guatemala, which was part of a nationwide strike organized by the Guatemala Education Workers Union. According to Alan Sharp, the team narrowly missed getting through before the road was closed and had to wait several hours before traffic was allowed to pass. They were eventually able to continue their journey at around midday. 3 firearms and more than 1,300 rounds of ammunition were found during a massive bust by the Customs Department over the weekend. At the northern border, they discovered undeclared items in a shipment on June 27. Since no one arrived to declare them, they kept the items. When the package was opened a few weeks later, on July 11th, in front of its owner, Darnane Garcia, a wide variety of firearms and ammunition were discovered. Campo Rosado shared more details.
On the 27th of June, during a routine custom inspection at the northern border, led to the discovery of undeclared duty-double goods in a shipment. Upon further examination on July the 11th, in the presence of the owner, custom officers subsequently, along with police, subsequently uncover 3 firearms, several magazines, and approximately 1,300 rounds of ammunition, which subsequently led to the arrest of Darnane Garcia for illicit trafficking of firearms and ammunition. The individual that was detained is a U.S. national but his parents are Belizean. And from our information, he was returning home. And he arrived in Belize through the Philip Goldson International Airport on July the 11th, and subsequently went to collect his items at the northern border, which was shipped prior to his arrival in Belize.
Honorable Oscar Mira was assigned the National Defense and Border Security portfolio after winning a second term for the PUP in Belmopan. In the last administration, he served as the Minister of State for the ministry. Mira said that having spent over 20 years in the Belize Defense Force, he feels he has no excuse not to deliver in his new capacity. He explained what's coming to the security services in the immediate future.
At the end of the day, we all want the best for Belize or the country, and we all want the best for our security forces. I have been working tirelessly from the time I got appointed to ensure that the Belize Defense Force and the Coast Guard gets what it deserves. We are doing a strategic analysis of all our of everything that is happening in the BDF and the Coast Guard. You see, having spent over 20 years in the Belize Defense Force, at a senior level, I honestly cannot give an excuse. I know what it takes. I know what it means. Unfortunately, in the past, the Belize Defense Force and the Coast Guard had been abandoned, and it's a lot of work to get back to where we should be. And we are starting with two intakes, one for the BDF and one for the Coast Guard. This will make sure that we have the appropriate amount of personnel needed for the work that we are doing. It's not an easy job. The Prime Minister has also been very gracious in allowing us to access more funds to ensuring that we buy the equipment and that we have the training that the BDF and the Coast Guard deserves to do their work.
The deployment of BDF soldiers to assist in Haiti has been delayed for quite some time. In a recent interview, Honorable Oscar Mira, the new Minister of National Defense, stated that the conditions in Haiti are still not suitable to send our soldiers. He shared some of the challenges faced on the ground.
We continue training, we are continued committed to Haiti. However, at this point in time, the conditions in Haiti are not right for us to deploy any BDF. If the conditions change, and that is a coordination that we do with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as soon as conditions change and we feel that we can send our troops, they will be sent. So we are still committed to Haiti. What happened was the last time there was no accommodation available for any troops in Haiti. So there was a backlog of accommodation. There were so many administrative issues that we believe that our soldiers would have been at a disadvantage had we deployed them. So as soon as those conditions are fixed, we are still committed.
A couple weeks ago, the Belize Coast Guard seized a large vessel off Ambergris Key. The suspicion is that it was used to transport a significant amount of drugs offshore. Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard, Rear Admiral Elton Bennett, shared that such illicit activity remains very active in the Atlantic.
Indeed, another major concern for us. The maritime route is still active across the Caribbean. We've seen evidence of drug trafficking off the coast of Belize as well. Just over a week ago, we recovered one of the vessels that we suspect to be involved with drug trafficking. That's a very large vessel. Intelligence indicate that it more than likely brought a large number of illicit drugs through our country. So we're very concerned, and we make plans to get out to deploy and try to intercept. The ultimate aim of our strategy is try to deter those activities from our sea spaces, and we've been good at that. We've been able to minimize the amount of drugs that would enter the mainland of Belize, and that's because of our forward deployed strategy. We're able to go out at these strategic locations and push them offshore. So what you saw last week with that vessel was a transaction that occurred well off the coast, and it's not ideal. I mean, it's not the main objective here, but if we can push that from off the coast of Belize, then we would have been able to achieve a whole lot in terms of denying that product from landing on the mainland of Belize.
And the cost of obtaining visas to the United States will now increase on account of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The bill introduces a $250 visa integrity fee to be paid at the time the visa is issued. It is supposed to be reimbursed upon application if the visa holder complies with all requirements of their visa, including departing within the time frames set and not working in the U.S. It will be applicable for the B1, B2 visas for business, tourism, medical treatment, visitor visas, and also for F1, F2, and other student visas, including transit visas. A second fee to be applied is $24 for an arrival departure record Form I-94. The new fees are to come into effect on January 1, 2026. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.